secret safes, Thor's hammer, double jump boots, and a gun that gets better the more you use it. Here is a list of the best unique weapons and armor you can get early in the Outer Worlds 2. Let's go. I wanted to start with this unique biomass pistol and heavy armor that you can get immediately after landing on the first planet. And this is really one of the easiest ways to get some unique gear and just generally bits and other goods. All throughout the game, you'll come across locked chests, lockers, etc. that certain NPCs will have a key for. Now, in not all cases, but a lot of cases, you can just invest a ton of points into lockpick and then just be able to lockpick the door. However, if you don't want to do that, you can invest one skill in lockpick and then unlock the pickpocket perk. Now, what this will allow you to do is, as there is no difficulty to pickpocketing, you just have to hold the button down for a certain period of time, you can then pickpocket the NPCs that have the key to that chest or vault or whatever, and then take whatever's inside. The best example of this is Ko, one of the early NPCs that you'll meet on Paradise Isle. She has a war chest that contains a pistol in there called Kar's Corridor and Kar's Curious. Now, both of these are fantastic gear to grab super early in the game, and you can essentially do this as soon as you land. You can just go and interact with her at the Paradise Point Fairfield town. She will be in her office after your initial intro. There's no one else in there, so you can pickpocket her for free. Once you've grabbed the key itself, you need to go down to the camp, and the war chest is actually in her room down there. You'll be able to get both of these items. Now, what's unique about this pistol, one being a biomass weapon, which is hard to get this early in the game. This does scale with science, not guns as well. So if you are running a science build, this is definitely a weapon that you want to use, and it does have the contagion corrosive effect on it, so it can essentially damage multiple enemies as it spreads based on its science skill if you are running a science build. And the armor itself is one of the highest damage resistance armors you can get in this early in the game, so if you are struggling with survivability, it's definitely one to grab, even though it is a heavy armor which you can use. Now, alternatively, if you don't want to be a thief or you want to obtain these via the normal method, you can do that as well. But there is a really good heavy armor called Calorie Counter at the Free Market Station, which you can get to as soon as you leave Paradise Isle, but more on that in a little bit. Now, generally, a good idea is to do a lot of the side quest in Paradise Isle if you want to get all of the gadgets, like the gas deflection device that allows you to walk through the Zyranium without taking damage for a limited time. This is actually found at the Automech factory to the east by completing a quest there. But what I really want to talk about here is the double jump boots, or PALE as they're called. These are basically like a requirement to like have fun, I guess. And it's just fantastic to have because there's a lot of, not parkour, but these sort of platforming elements that you'll need to do throughout the game, that this just makes it so much easier. You can reach locations that you otherwise can't, jump over fences to get into places that you probably shouldn't. Really beneficial to have for that. So around the middle of Paradise Isle, up on the Sovereign's Sweet Spire Grove is where you'll actually find the quest. It's pretty unmissable once you get here because a guy will literally fall out of the sky. He is where you'll get the boots from. You just need to interact with his corpse and you get the boost. And this will actually trigger a quest. Now, at the end of this quest, which you should do, which does require you to climb to the very top of the tower, you will get a helmet called the Molecular Target Finder, which does do really good additional weak spot damage and have the range scanner effect on it as well. So if you're running a gun build, definitely one of the best helmets to use. And if you're not running a gun build, you're probably looking for a melee weapon. Now, the best early game melee weapon is probably a weapon called Thunderstruck, which is basically Thor's hammer in a way. Now, it has the effect on a crash of thunder. Heavy attacks with this weapon will send forward a thunderous projectile to shock foes. So you obviously want to be holding this down and charging up that heavy attack. It's really fantastic because for most melee builds, you don't really have any sort of way to deal range damage. This gives you a way. The distance on this isn't huge, but it is quite, like, it's long enough, and it can, because it's an electric attack, it can shoot that like electric effect to other enemies as well, and the damage on this is pretty solid for a shock weapon as well. This is actually found on the northern part of the Paradise Isle at the Skycutter A102 location. You'll need to climb all the way to the top of this location. Actually, the double jump boots really come in handy here as well, by the way, because there's some platforming you'll need to do to be able to climb this tower. There are other ways to get up there, but you'll need to get up to the top of this tower, activate the lift, and then climb to the very top and go outside. Now, you'll then need to turn off the power or redirect it, and you'll be able to get the Thunderstruck weapon, which is absolutely brilliant. Now, there is plenty more to find on Paradise Isle, but I'll leave that up to you. I want to talk about some other things you can get, like an insane explosive machine gun called Agatha. Now, this weapon comes with Agatha's Surprise. It fires 25% more slowly, but its bullets explode on hit, and it uses heavy rounds on as ammo instead of long rounds. Now, what's great about this is when you aim down sights, the rate of fire is increased, but it will build up like the cooldown meter, and once that's filled, then you won't be able to shoot. So essentially your focus here is on using the ADS and then just normal firing with this weapon and balancing between the two, so you will never actually have that cooldown effect where you can't actually shoot unless you're reloading. This is exceptional for an explosives build. If you're running some sort of an explosives build using that skill, really beneficial, one of the best guns in the game, especially when you combine it with a helmet that we'll talk about in a second. So to get this weapon, all you need to do is go to Free Market Station, and at the weapon store here, you'll be able to buy this straight up from the weapons vendor. Now, the Free Market Station unlocks as soon as you leave Paradise Isle. So once you have left that place, go immediately to Free Market Station rather than the other location and grab this weapon. There's plenty of other good stuff you can get here. Now, if you want to combine this with a helmet called the Bomb Suit Helmet, this helmet, you will gain over health when you deal explosive damage. Now, as this rifle does explosive damage, you're just constantly getting over health, so you'll essentially never die, especially if you're running an explosive build, dealing tons of explosive damage. The Bomb Suit Helmet comes from the Scrapper's Den on the Golden Ridge, which is the second main planet that you'll go to. This isn't about the middle of the map. It's actually linked with a bounty, but you can just go to this location, defeat the named NPC here, and you'll get the Bomb Suit Helmet from his corpse, and then you'll be able to have this just insane explosives build if that's what you're looking for. Explosives is just overall a fantastic skill to use as well, which if you want to watch my skills video and decide which skills are actually the ones you want to use, definitely it's one to use, and you should watch that video to learn more about them. All right, let's talk about that locked chest that you probably found on the Incognito, your ship. There is a locked cabinet here where you need lockpick 11 to unlock.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
If you want to know what's in that chest, it's actually the Rookie's Reward, which is an interesting weapon. This is an SMG that has the really unique effect that it levels as you use it. So it starts out pretty average if you look at its stats, right? Its damage is really low, magazine size, rate of fire, weak spot, everything actually quite low overall. As you use this weapon, it will actually level up. And when it does level up, there's like a confetti effect and it'll tell you. Now, I don't know right now what the actual max level of this is, but it definitely becomes more valuable as you actually use it. That magazine size, that rate of fire, that damage, that weak spot, etc. all increases, and you can put a sight on this as well, like I did, just to, overall help you hit those shots. Now, the downside is that you need lockpicking 11 in order to get it. So is it worth it? Well, I overall think lockpicking is a worthwhile skill to get, just for other reasons and unlocking chests and doors, etc. throughout the game. So definitely it's worthwhile getting this, and it's a solid weapon. Like, it uses short rounds, which is an easy ammunition to craft, and I have found a lot of enjoyment using this weapon. And I'm very curious to see what the max level of this weapon is as I do keep using it. So I did mention earlier that there was a better hammer to use for your melee users. That is the Wham Bam. This is a shotgun hammer. Now, what this does is it's essentially just a hammer, but when you make contact with an enemy, it will shoot a shotgun blast out of its hammer head. Now, you do need to have shotgun rounds here, and you actually need to reload this hammer as well. So if you are running a melee build, make sure you've got some shotgun ammo with you if you are using this weapon. Ultimately, this is probably one of the best melee weapons in the game that I have found, because even though I'm running a guns build, this damage on this is still pretty crazy. Like, it one-shots a lot of the basic enemies, and it's very close to one-shotting a lot of other enemies as well. Like, I don't know what the damage numbers on this actually are, like holistically, even though the damage number is pretty high, because it feels like it's doing damage as a melee weapon and then the shotgun blast separately, which isn't tracked in its overall like DPS, it seems. But overall, the weapon is really powerful, and this is also available on the Golden Ridge, which is that second location that you will go to. Now, you get this from the Dunsany Two Brothers bounty, which is at the Guardian Estate to the west of the Golden Ridge. Now, when you get here, there is a lot of enemies here. This was actually a relatively tough bounty for early in the game, because there is two of them, and one of them holds this insane hammer, so you will need to be a little bit careful. But when you do get this weapon, it's absolutely worth using, and just having a melee weapon, especially in the early to mid game when ammo is a little bit scarce, whether you're crafting it or buying it, etc. It's always good to have a melee weapon in one of your weapon slots just as a backup, and because of the amount of damage this weapon does, does. It's just generally beneficial to use. All right, the last thing that I wanted to touch on is these lock boxes that you can find in the world that you'll then be able to unlock back at your ship. Now, something to note is that you need these advanced security keys. You'll find these just generally throughout the world, but often every vendor will sell one as well. So when you go to vendors, make sure you check and buy them. These high security lock boxes will always contain some sort of a unique gear or mod or something in them that you can only get from it. I don't know if these are like static drops or if they're random, like a loot box sort of thing, not entirely sure, but definitely worth doing and checking because there's some quality gear that you can get from these. One of them is the first thing that you'll get is Valerie's mod kit, which is to upgrade Valerie the companion, but ultimately it's good to actually use these to get these upgrades and just see what you can overall roll, and definitely go and buy these keys when you do get them because they're pretty cheap, and just keep that grind going and see if you can get something good. But if you want to know what skills to use, traits, flaws, perks, etc., go and watch that video that I will link right here for you, and let me know any other cool gear you found in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.